Hello, everybody. So we're going live again for yet another amazing podcast episode where I have my amazing, incredible friend Ramona here to share her inspiring life story. And I can't wait for her to share her words of wisdom with you guys today. So, Ramona, thank you so much for being here. And how are you, my friend?
Hi, Ryan, and thank you so much for having me. I'm very well. I'm doing actually pretty well. Everybody's asking, "How are you?" I'm amazing. I'm doing fantastic. That's the right attitude to start your day. But thank you so much for having me today. I'm sure our audience will be so happy to to share with us this beautiful space we have created and we have manifested together, and to just be the witness of our wisdom and our words of wisdom, which we want to share tonight with our audience. Right. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Ramona Pop. I'm a spiritual psychology coach. I'm an international speaker. I'm an author of Discover Your True. My first book, it's available on Amazon, and is this one. I'm so proud of it. I put so much good energy into it, and I'm sure it will bring a lot of healing to everyone around us and the ones who are ready to receive the information. Because I believe that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear in some way, through a book, through a video, through a certain person. So here we are, and I'm very grateful. That's my overall feeling.
Amazing, Ramona. I can't wait to share your story as well because, I've heard you speak about your life growing up and some of the challenges that you've been through because it wasn't always sort of plain sailing or one smooth pathway to where you are today. So, if you can, please, do you mind just sharing a bit about yourself growing up through, say, your younger years and some of the challenges that you faced along your way and what you needed to do in order to get you to the place where you are today?
Right. So I will just start with my time in the high school, because there was where everything started to take the wrong way. I will say now, if I want to be judgmental, but I will not be judgmental. I will just say everything happens to us, for us for a reason. So during my high school, I started to get in contact, and of course, as a consequence of being deprived of love and feeling always like alone, and always trying to to validate myself in a way, I started to manifest also these toxic people around me, which and toxic environments, which have brought me to to discover the darkness of the life. Yeah. I know we share some common things from our younger age. And yes, this is how life started for me, being always surrounded by toxic people and toxic environments. And I couldn't escape, for let's say for some years, and the very moment, which was the moment that brought me awareness and awakening, it was when I found myself on my, when I really hit my rock bottom version. It was just after my father passed away, and I had a love relationship which ended in in a way which I didn't expect it. At that time, I already been the mother of my beautiful angel Serena, and I just found myself, in a toxic environment, surrounded by toxic people, not knowing who am I and what do I want to do and why am I here. So these were the fundamental questions I had to answer myself first in order to move on. So when I asked myself, who am I and why am I here? That was the moment when I shifted and I started to understand and to see life through a different, from a different perspective. I started to understand that there is more that we've been told, you know. I started to see life through different lens. That was the moment when the veil was taken off my eyes. And this is how my beautiful journey of awakening and into spirituality started. And right now, I'm very grateful, but I must confess, it was hard as hell. It was very hard. The people, the ones they are saying, like, you know, transformation, yeah, it's not hard, and yes, I can do it. Yes, of course, you can do it, but you must admit the pain that comes with it because your brain, we were programmed different. You know, we were programmed to stay in the surviving mood and to accept, yes, it's good to be, you know, to not be good enough. It's good to that people make yourself, you know, like feeling small. It's good, all that bad, like all that little things which makes us look small and insignificant. Of course, all that things is not easy. The change doesn't happen overnight because it's like when you put into a balance, you know, like 20 years of toxic, of rubbish, and of course you have to put the kind of the same amount of work on it, you know, so you can balance. And this is the only way. I always tell my clients, there is no shortcut. You have to work on yourself. There is no shortcut. There is no magic wand, or I'm not like the magic coach that I will just come, okay, let's say, Ryan, from now on, you will be smiling every day. Woo! You know? It's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. You have to acknowledge what are your limiting beliefs. What is it that is stopping you? You know, you really have to step into that part of you, you know, you have to discover yourself. So I believe, I believe we all have to go through this transformation. But as I said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So whenever you have ears to hear what's coming to you, you will do the change.
Wow, Ramona, thank you so much for your incredible words there. And I couldn't agree more with everything you said. But there was one thing that really stood out for me, you know, and that was about the power of your environments.
Yes.
So, like, I've been there myself, you've obviously been there. So, for anybody that's going to be listening to this and they are maybe surrounded by toxic people or putting themselves in toxic places or places that do not support their growth to help them elevate up to the life that they want to achieve, what pieces of advice could you give to those individuals to start removing themselves from these potential toxic environments and to then be able to surround themselves with other people and put themselves in places that are going to help raise them up to the life that they really dream and desire?
Well, I believe this change always comes up when you figure out what's your why. Because the why is the driving force that will get you there. You know, every time you want to give up, when you remember your why and your why is strong enough to keep you going, you will get there. There is no doubt. You will get there. When you always remind yourself and you remember what's your why you want to get there. Because I want to help all these people. I want to share with everybody so they don't go through the hell I've been through. You know? So when your why and your love, for example, in my case, for helping others is so strong, you will move countries. You will just, I don't know, you will find ways. You will find ways because, as I said, when your why is so strong, you will find a way. And I don't believe when some people they say, "Oh, I wish I can do that. I don't have time or I don't have money." No, it's never the lack of money. They're printing money. They're printing money every day. I mean, it's not the lack of money, you know? It's the lack of your purpose. It's the lack of your power. You have to step into your power. And once you don't want to, become the sheep, one of the sheeps, and you want to become a leader and you want to inspire and empower others, that's the exit from there to a new life, to a new you. Because nobody can do this for you. That's the thing. Nobody can do this for you. And yes, this is what I will advise uh, the younger generation to always find their why. What's your why to begin with? What's your why? Okay, I'm not happy with this. Okay, I want to do this. Why you want? Just make get have some more money or whatever the reason is. Well, let me tell you something. You'll just go from A to B probably, but not more, because then you will get the money and that's it. Your energy will be drained because you're probably doing something you don't love to do. I've been in this situation, I wanted money, so I went into sales with a big company from United States, you know, cosmetics and all that stuff. I became a Nourish the Children ambassador. Me and my team, we were feeding children from Africa for years. But then I always ask myself, what is it that I want to do? I was personal trainer as well, but I always ended up coaching them, Instead of counting the reps, I was coaching them. And this is how I said, why I asked myself, I said, why I'm not doing this? So this is my this is my biggest advice. Always follow your dreams. Follow what you like. What's your why? What you really want to do. If money and time wouldn't be involved, what would you like to do? This is my biggest question. Everybody, I don't know. I don't know. And that's the reason why people are still stuck in this situation, you know, because they didn't find their why.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said about the why, and there's a book, right? Simon Sinek, Start with Why. And when you do know your why for waking up in the mornings, it's going to get you up and out of bed or push you through those difficult times or those challenges in your life. Like when you have a strong why, like you said, Ramona, like when the why is strong enough, the how will always reveal itself. And I believe when you know your why, it's going to push you through those challenges and those barriers, for instance. So you mentioned a few ways there for someone to know their why or to find their purpose, for instance. But I want to go back a step where you mentioned about you have to have the courage and the confidence to actually follow your dreams, to chase your dreams, and to create the life of your dreams. Because so many people, maybe they think they know their purpose or they know their why at the moment, but they're letting things like fear or lack of courage and confidence stop them from achieving their goals. So, again, for anyone listening, they know what they want in their life, they know their why for waking up, but still at the moment they're lacking the confidence to actually take the uncomfortable action steps to eventually achieve what it is that they want. What piece of advice or tips could you give someone to build the courage, to build the confidence to go on and live their best life?
Well, I'm a living proof of of courage. For example, before I started being on stage, I was terrified, and I believe you know this very well. So, my piece of advice is whatever it scares you and excites you in the same time, you have to do it. So there is no other way. I mean, how you can get rid of this fear? By doing it. Just do it, and you will see. You will not die. Nothing will happen. You will just become better and better and better. The same I did when I did skydiving in Dubai. Same. I was so scared, like only thinking of it. On the evening, I remember I booked. Uh, I booked this the skydiving in the morning. Like Sam, like Smith. I don't know his name. He said he had a very similar speech on YouTube. You know that moment when you go out with your friends and partying and you book your skydiving, and in the morning you wake up like, oh my goodness, I have to go, you know? So I felt the same in the morning. I remember I was with one friend, so she had the flight early in that morning, and I looked at her and I said, oh my God, Maria, it's 5 o'clock at 7. I need to get up and I need to jump. And she was like, oh my God, sister. She was like, oh my God, but you have to do it. So this will be another way of inspiring people that this is the only way of doing things and overcoming your fears by doing it. So this is how you get the courage. So yes, I'm a living proof, as I said, of courage, and I'm so grateful and I'm so happy, because we get scared by many things, especially me. I'm a Pisces, I'm sensitive, I'm this very feminine, all this stuff, but in the same time I need to put on my masculine energy, like, come on, I can do it. So I believe it's very important that we balance also these energies, and yes, and we just allow ourselves to be, because we often find ourselves in to do and not in to be. So I believe that when we start to be, life begins.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I totally agree with you again. And you mentioned something there, Ramona, which was sometimes you just have to say to yourself, come on, let's go, let's do it, let's do
Yeah,
it. Like, whatever happens, I'm going to do it.
yeah.
So I want to ask you the question, can you talk to us and the audience about the importance of positive self talk?
Well, yes, actually, I speak about this also in my book and in my programs where I work. I have options to work with clients also one to one, or as I said, I also mentioned this in my book. We as humans, our brain is old, like millions of years, yeah. So of course we are programmed to be in the survival mood, you know, like to be always like, okay, this is good, it's good to listen to our brain. For example, you want to cross the street, of course you have to make sure that no car is coming, or you want to jump from the airplane, make sure you have a parachute. I mean, don't just get positive in such a way that you kill yourself, because also positive, oh, being over positive is also toxic. So I believe there is a balance. There is a lot of toxicity also in on being only just super positive about everything and not being aware of what the reality is. Because let me tell you something, when, for example, something, you have some situations in your life, yeah. So if you become an observer and you know when you have to listen to your little friend, you know when to listen. Because as I said, if you are always listening to these positive things or to the negative ones, you will end up bad. I'm telling you, I'm honest, So you have to make the difference. You have to cultivate that wisdom, that knowledge of what is it a reality, and when is your brain, which your programming, which is stopping you to achieving your dreams. Is it, when is that fear that is showing up, because the negative talks is about fear, and the positive talks is about all love and light, but sometimes you feel to be like, yeah, so it's not always it's not the best way to be always positive, super positive. But the thing is that in the key moments, for example, when your brain is sending you some, like, oh my God, you can't do this, no, you cannot go big, you cannot be millionaire, who do you think you are, all these all these messages, wrong messages. That's the moment when you can use the positive affirmation and you can give yourself value, even though this value, it wasn't given to you before or never. by nobody. So everything starts with you. So be the first one who value yourself. Be the first one who cultivate this knowledge, and the one who can really make a difference when you have to be positive and when you have to be realistic. And I believe, I used to be very negative because this is what I learned. So I had to unlearn this during the years. I had to unlearn uh, all these negative talks that I'm not good enough, I'm small, I'm insignificant, my voice doesn't matter. I had to unlearn all this. So of course it takes some time. It takes some time. It takes some courage. It takes some persistence, some discipline, you know, because especially after I finished psychology university in London, I learned so much about the brain and how the brain works, and when we can access easily our subconscious mind, when the brain is in theta state, so we can access the subconscious mind, so we can change the beliefs, you know. So this also helped me a lot. So I invested a lot of time and energy. I committed 100% to myself to make this change. And now I start seeing results, and I'm more than happy because I always trusted that, it's like planting a seed. you know you plant a seed, but you don't go every day to dig there. Okay, where is my tomato? You plant the seed, and you put some soil, you put some water, you nurture that seed, and you put the right thoughts in your mind, and this is how you will get the plants or the fruits or whatever you want to get. So, after we plant the right seeds, like the right thoughts in our mind, we can expect our life to be changed.
Wow. So what stood out for me there was about how you said about it goes back to the balance, right? Like if we've been programmed our whole lives with a lot of negativity or toxic surroundings, it's going to take a lot more of the positivity and positive thoughts, positive habits to then balance that back out again. So you can't just expect this to happen overnight, which you mentioned there about the seed
Yes,
analogy. Like so many people think, oh, because they've lived a bad life for all these years, or they've lived a negative life or negative surroundings, that one day they're going to wake up, watch a video on YouTube, and then the next day they're going to feel so much better. And then 1 week down the line, when they still feel the same, they think, oh, I'm just going to carry on because it doesn't work. This
yes,
positive thinking doesn't work. Like it does not work like that. If you've been programmed, if you're 20 years old, if you're 30, 40 years old, and you've been programmed for all these years by the surroundings, by society, social media, for instance, then 1 year you're going to be lucky to see many changes. Of course, you'll see changes in 1 year, but this is an ongoing process, and the path to success is always under construction. Like you never really stop improving and advancing and progressing in your life. Like the moment you stop is the moment you stop growing, and if you're not growing in life, you're literally dying. So it takes constant
exactly.
awareness and constant improvement, right? So, Ramona, I want to ask you now actually something that you mentioned at the beginning about an awful thing that obviously happened to your dad. But I want to speak about the lessons that you may have learned from that situation and how people can transform their lives going through, say, negative situations or horrible situations in their lives where they feel like maybe because this bad thing that's happened in their life, whatever it may be, whether it's a lost loved one, whether it's an illness, for instance, they've maybe been diagnosed or something really bad's happened in their life, but they feel like they can't come back from this. What can you say suggest these individuals do in order to be able to overcome these challenges in their lives?
Right. So, as I said earlier, for me, this moment came in a big package because I, Sometimes we just get more than we are asking. The universe is so generous with us. So I was looking for that change, and God says, "Okay, I'm gonna give you that change. Stop asking, my love." So it sent me, my when my father passed away, it came in a package with also finishing my previous love relationship, and I was in grief, and of course I've been told that, oh, you're not, you have to visit some therapist or some hospital or something, and of course it was very toxic for me. And at that moment I didn't understand, but I had this calling. I had my inner voice, which was constantly screaming, basically screaming to me, like, "Ramona, wake up. You don't see this is not a supporting environment for you. This person, for example, in that case, is not supporting you. Your energy is drained. You're not happy here, because otherwise you will not ask yourself, what are you doing here, You will just be happy, like you can feel it. Everybody can sense that, when you're happy, you're happy. I mean, it's like love or intelligence. How you can explain this? There is no explanation. You can just feel it, So that was the moment, when I realized, that I have to get out of that situation, So I got up, and this is when I understood that actually everything starts with me. And the first relation that I have to work on is the relationship with myself. And of course, after I will work on the relationship with myself and I will stop beating myself, I will also manifest a different environment and different and more loving people into my life. So this was the moment when I started to work with myself and to put myself first. Yeah, so the biggest lesson which I've learned is to always start with myself, to always start working on the relationship with myself, because otherwise there is no other way, to overcome the situations where you feel stuck. And I must confess that I practice a lot also with my clients, the power of forgiveness and acceptance. Because at first, when you are in that big, deep pain, um, you cannot go further. You cannot uh, take the next step until you don't accept the situation. When you accept the situation you're in, and you're like, just get a cold shower, like, okay, hello, okay, I'm here. Okay, what can I do to change this? Am I willing to do the change? Am I willing to accept this so I can move forward? Because the only moment when we can do a change is the present moment. So that comes with acceptance. When you don't accept and you're stuck in the past, always, playing on and on that cassette in your head or your DVD, whatever you have, uh, you're living in the past. So from the past, we have no power over the past, right? So the only moment we can manifest things and move forward is from the present moment. So you have to accept and to become present. And from this point, we can go further. So then we can also do the forgiveness and to understand that this is not about you. It's about them. Don't take it on your shoulders. This is about them. If they treated you poor, that's about them. Because how you do anything, you do everything. How you do anything, you do everything. So this is about them. And if they treated you this way, just leave them. Realize that you are more than them. You are more than them, and just forgive them and let them go. Just say thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. I just realized that we are so different. And my friend, you have no space in my life because my life is so wonderful, and I treat myself better. But of course, you have to work on the relationship with yourself and to understand that you are not the person they try you to become or to identify yourself with. So you're not that person. You're a different person, and you have to know that if you suffer, it's because you choose to. Pain comes naturally. Sufferment is a choice. And then you also need to remember one thing, that you are here in this life, as a spirit in a body, right? Because somebody up there loves you. What are you doing? Why are you beating yourself? Why you are not able to love yourself? That's the question. And here I come to the life's masterclass, which I believe every human being has to understand and to really acknowledge, which is to love yourself. And
That was beautiful, like such beautiful words there, Ramona, and so important to love yourself and put yourself first, because so many people go through life putting other people first, which is obviously so nice of them. But by putting someone else first, you're actually putting yourself second. And if you're putting yourself second, you can't then help other people from the best of your ability. So I just love how you said that there. So, Ramona, as we bring this to an end now, I want to start by asking you these 5 questions that I have for you. So, if you're happy to go ahead, we're going to get
yes,
going with the 5 questions.
yes, I'm more
So,
than happy.
so, so, number one question is, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received, and why?
Well, the best piece of advice I received, it was to follow my intuition, my inner guidance. I was, as I said earlier, I repeat again, I always had a calling for spirituality, for psychology, always from the early years in my life. My thinking was so deep. I remember asking myself, my mother, she was cleaning. I still remember that day. I said, Mom, but why are we calling this like a chair? Who said that? Why are we doing what we are doing? And she was like, what question is this? Let me, I'm busy. you know? So I always had this calling and for spirituality, as I said, and psychology. But I always also been very intuitive. Sometimes I receive, messages through my dreams or, through different signs, which I'm able to recognize as a sign, not when every bird is flying like, oh, this is a sign today, I don't know what. That's why I'm saying you have to work on yourself to be able to identify the difference between A and B, between the light and the dark, as I said.
Okay, so what is the worst piece of advice that you have ever received and acted on, and what was the result?
Well, the worst piece of advice I received it was to play small because I cannot play big and to think small. How can I think that? Like, come on, maximum I can be there 9 to 5 and that's it. Eat, sleep, repeat, let's say. That was everything. So yeah, I received this advice so many times. Like, come on, why you need that stress? Why you need that? What's the word? That feeling when you don't feel certain. You that variety. You need to to be safe, to be certain. Yeah, but how you can be safe? Even like that, you cannot be safe. That was the hidden lie, which I discovered after. And this was the worst advice. And I did this for a while because, as I said, I didn't know myself. I didn't know myself how strong I am and how courageous I am and how motivated and diligent I am. So I had to break every little belief which I had in order to arrive to the castle. If you want to get to the castle, you have to be willing to swim the boat. So I did that work, and I'm still doing it, so I can serve better and better, and I can help even more people. And I love what I'm doing. I'm the most happy person in the world. Yes, because I'm doing what I love. Finally.
Wow, that's amazing to hear. So, next question, which I believe we talked about it a little bit earlier, we're going to repeat it now. So, the question is, what was the main thing that you had to unlearn whilst growing up?
Well, yes, as I said earlier, and now I want to add also another thing, which I did. Okay, so for example, for instance, I acknowledge that this person is not, it's a toxic one, it's not beneficial for my life. Then I forgot, I forgave that person. I forgive everybody, and after a while, they showed up again, because the universe is very smart. Say, okay, let's test Ramona again, let's send these people again into her life. So the universe, or God, whatever you want to call it, Allah, has sent me again these people into my life. And I was like, yeah, okay, they did a mistake. I've learned already they are toxic in my life. But for some reason, I thought because I changed, I thought they changed as well. So I said, okay, welcome in my life again. So I had to unlearn this. I always allowed toxic people to come back, after I suffered and I saw they are not good. I always allow them to enter again my life, just because we know each other for a long time, and so many reasons um, which are actually not the great ones for our growth, because these are just some stones in our way, actually. So yeah, I accepted some more stones. Then I was like, okay, I'm done now, no more. Okay, I forgive you, go with God, but I cannot accept you anymore in my life. I forgive you just because I want to set myself free, you know? I give myself a gift, actually.
Wow, and I love the way you put that about forgiving them, accepting the situation, but then setting your boundaries and saying, no, this is my
Yeah,
life now, this is your life, and then moving on. So, very
yeah.
important. So, next question, Ramona, is what is the greatest lesson that you learned from your most painful life experience?
Yeah, so the greatest lesson which I've learned is to love myself, or at least to start loving myself a little bit more each day, every day. you know, this was the greatest lesson which I've learned. After suffering and accepting all that crap situations in my life, I said, okay, that's enough. That's enough. I love myself. I don't want this. Anyway, what can happen if I change this? Because I was already in a bad situation, so I couldn't expect something worse than that. So I said, okay, it must be better if I go on a different way. So by loving myself. So I started to love myself and to pay close attention to my body, to my thoughts, and to the people I'm surrounded with, to the environment. And easy, I started to make changes. Easy, some people disappeared from my life because we didn't vibrate anymore on the same vibration. We weren't on the same vibration anymore. It was like I was talking in I don't know, Chinese. They were talking, I don't know, another language. So as I said, everything is energy. So when we vibrate different, we don't meet each other anymore. And I really believe in the power of energy. It's like on the radio. When we vibrate the same, we are talking the same language. There is a chance for us to meet because we are on the same frequency. But when you are on a low frequency, what you can meet there? You cannot meet like somebody inspiring there. No, you can't. You can only meet that level of energy, which is toxic. All these types of situations which have a low frequency. So I had to raise my vibration and to understand that loving myself is the most precious gift I can give to myself, and it's free.
Yeah, I mean, look, by removing yourself from certain situations, environments, relationships, and putting yourself first, it doesn't mean that you don't like or love that person. It just
Yeah.
means that you love yourself more. And everything in life starts with self. Like if you want to change, it all starts with self. So
Yes.
it's so important to put yourself first. So the question I have now, Ramona, is knowing what you know now, what one piece of advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh my God. Dear Ramona, let me just embody that feeling, that moment right now. I would just say, dear Ramona, follow your dreams. As I said earlier, I was always passionate about psychology and spirituality, right? So I will say to my younger self, Ramona, follow your dreams, because I always wanted to understand what's happening, why people think like that, why are they doing what they're doing. I was always looking and searching for these answers. But for some reason, I allowed some people, to stop me from my way, and to just, not giving myself this beautiful chance, which I chose to give myself after a few years. So I'm this is what I will tell her: to follow her dreams, and to believe, because there is no mistake in the universe. You were not put there by mistake. And if something is coming up to you, it must be a reason. It can be a lesson, or it can be a win. So in either way, it's a win. You know, you will get the benefits anyway. So don't be afraid and just do it.
Wow, that is such an impactful thing you've just said there because it's so important to listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, and follow those dreams because we only literally have one life and one opportunity to achieve everything that we've always dreamt or desired or wanted in our lives.
Yeah.
And not doing it is only going to result in one thing, which is unhappiness and unfulfillment. So, Ramona, thank you so much. And before we go today, I have one more bonus question, which
Wow.
is what is the best thing about being Ramona?
Oh, okay. Well, I want to change the perspective of over things which happened into my life, and I want to admit that I had to lose myself in order to find myself.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
And I believe this is my one of my biggest wins, which I had in my life, that I had to lose myself, and this contributed a lot to the power which I find in myself today, when I remember moments from my previous years. There were moments of big suffering, and when I was beating myself so bad, but very bad, very bad. And actually, I realized that all that all that pain now is the fuel contributes to my drive now. All that pain, it was actually for a reason. So I'm not anymore in that uh, place of beating myself. I'm in a place of space of acceptance and love for myself, because even though at that times I didn't understood and I couldn't see the exit of it, but for some reason I trusted, and here I am now. I can see it through with different eyes. I can see through different lens that situation, and actually was just building up my strength so I can move on and I can build something greater and stronger now.
Wow, Ramona, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring words with me and with everybody that will listen back to this. So before we end this now, I just want to say, Ramona, how can people learn more about you, to connect with you? Like you mentioned your book as well there. So how can people get to know Ramona more?
Well, so I will mention first my website, www.ramonapop.com. Yes, pop, P-O-P. I know I have a stage name. It's I love my name, Pop. Everybody's like, Pop? Yes, why you call yourself Pop? This is my name, Ramona Pop. So yes, people can find me on ramonapop.com. And of course, I'm on the social platforms on Instagram and LinkedIn, ramonapop.love. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. And Facebook, which I'm not very much using lately, but I'm more on Instagram. And of course, I can be contacted through direct messages and also through support at ramonapop.com through my website. I'm very responsive and I love to help people, and I'm so glad and happy every day when I open my messages and I see people that admire me, and I see people that understand my journey, and I see people that want to evolve and to move forward and to create a better life for themselves. And this is what makes me happy and helps me going on. Keep going.
Amazing. Ramona, thank you so much for this episode today. And I look forward to seeing everybody on the next podcast episode. So, Ramona, thank you so much. And we're going to speak soon.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
Bye.